I always like to know what it is that you feel like when your intuitive voice is talking to you, what that sounds like versus your ego. So do you have do you kind of have do you know what the difference is usually, or can you tell the difference, or
Um,
what's the relationship?
Sometimes it gets very hard to
Yeah.
tell, but usually once I sit with it all a little bit longer, it becomes a little bit easier to tell.
Okay. So what is it? What's the difference for you usually? Like, can you put words to it?
I would say that yeah, the ego and anxiety is more like demanding my attention right now, wanting to do things like has to be done now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the intuitive voice. So is it softer?
Sorry, I've got a cat walking in front of me.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, the intuitive would definitely be um just like this quieter sort of voice that's just like this knowing rather than trying to necessarily tell me something in words. It's just like this knowing. And I don't know how or why I know it, but I just know.
Okay. And then, so what about in your body? Like if we were going to go for body sensations, do you notice a difference between ego versus intuitive voice? Like, is that something that you've noticed before or?
That's probably where it gets a little bit confusing for me.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I just started realizing what it was recently for me. So, um, I can't remember. I think do you do the PDS work as well? Is that where? Okay.
Yeah,
So regarding the nervous system, like regulation stuff, have you worked on that?
I have. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell when you're in like fight or flight mode versus a secure state?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of the way that I say ego and intuition are talking. So ego is like that fight or flight state and that like dysregulated kind of like shakier feeling, anxious feeling, if that makes sense. Like it's that brain
Yeah.
running thing. And then intuition is like this calm state.
Yeah. True. Okay.
Does that kind of
Mhm.
resonate with your experiences so far?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, cool. So then hopefully that helps you to like discern a little bit where your body's at least. We'll go into a little meditation and some grounding. And then
Mhm.
I include breath in there too. So the breath work that we're going to do is basically an inhale for 4 and an exhale for 6 when we get to it. And I'll lead you through that. So
Would I go into my bedroom into a more quiet private area, or you don't
yeah, well,
mind?
whatever area will make you feel best to get in tune with your intuition. Like I see your housemate or whoever is back there, so I don't know if you'll be able to get as in tune if there's people behind you. And does everything else like feel good? Do doors need to be closed, or do you need like to fix yourself anywhere?
No,
Like do you feel comfortable?
I feel good here. Yeah, I feel good.
Okay, okay. Because sometimes the ego needs those things to be like the way they need to be in order for us to actually get in tune. So
Yeah.
okay. So starting with putting your hand somewhere on your body, I like the chest and like the belly or closer to the womb space. And then just focus on the breath, your natural breathing to start off with. And I'll start counting you in for your breaths. So inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1, exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just going inward to your body. Seeing what sensations are coming up for you right now. Starting from the toes and moving your way up through your legs, through your low back, through the belly, the spine, the chest and throat. Your head. Are there any sensations in your body that can be relaxed and released? Just focusing on them and asking them to let go. And if they're resisting, focus on the discomfort, not trying to figure out where it's from, just that it's there. Acknowledging it, helping it to be seen, just like we like to be seen. Meeting that need for ourselves, for our body to be heard and witnessed. And then feeling the discomfort dissipate from our body. And then before opening your eyes, I want you to picture the first flower that comes to mind and just hold it in your vision for a moment and appreciate it. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you want to share what flower came up for you.
I actually don't know the name of it, but my friends they own a hydroponic shop. So they grow a lot of plants and flowers, and they have this really rare one, and it only blooms. It doesn't have like a blooming season. It just randomly once every few years, this gorgeous big white flower will come out, and it literally like glows in the dark.
Okay. Okay, cool. So we're going to see what comes from like lessons from this particular flower, because the reason I chose that is because I want the intuition to kind of speak to us in symbolism. So we'll see if there's some sort of like theme that comes up as we do our session that relates back to something with this particular flower. Do you have a particular intention or a question that you want to work on today?
I guess my intention would be getting more into my body and less out of this thinking mind. Yeah, that would be really nice to learn how to tap into that and just quieten the noise of the mind a little bit more.
Is there a particular time when you find that you really, really get into your mind? Like there's one type of situation or location or group of people or something like that where it's at its Like you're very much just out of your body.
Yeah, look, it happens a lot. I'm quite a dissociator and going off in
Okay.
my own little fairyland in my head.
Okay.
Um, yeah, quite often when I have big feelings, I have to try to remind myself that no, 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 we're not trying to figure this out right now. We're just gonna sit with it and feel what we need to feel. But yeah, it's a constant like training of a puppy. Like, no, 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 come back and sit down here. We're just gonna sit here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do you feel right now? Do you feel grounded at this point in time, or do you feel like you need to do I need to bring you through more work to come down a bit more?
No, I feel like I'm pretty grounded right now. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you like you're two persons kind of right now. So I'm going to talk to you as ego or reference like your ego and your intuition. Intuition, are we able to talk to you right now? Or does ego need to say some things first before we can have a conversation with you and just see what comes through your body?
The first thing that sort of came up was, yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm ready to speak.
Okay, great. Intuition, where would you like us to start? What topic or what words of wisdom would you like to give us to start off with?
I sort of felt it was kind of like family that sort of came to my mind first. Like yeah, I sort of saw a picture of them.
Okay, so intuition, what about family do we need to look at first then?
I'm feeling like acceptance and yeah, letting go of the past.
Intuition, what does Krista need to know about acceptance? What lessons can you tell her right now that she really needs to hear?
I'm feeling, yeah, it's kind of like that it's safe and it's okay to accept and let it go.
Where is it coming from through your body as you're feeling your intuition talk to you? Like, can you explain it right now?
Yeah, I would say it's sort of like, I would say maybe solar plexus
Okay.
area.
Okay, great. It's safe, is what you were saying, intuition. Is it safe because Kristen's been doing the work to help her feel more safe?
Yeah, she's definitely been doing a lot of work and could definitely give herself a pat on the back for that and stop striving to change and grow all the time. That it's okay to accept where we are right now.
So right now, what does Kristen need the most? Is it actually just to take a break from the personal growth work and let things integrate? Or what does she need?
Yeah, and I can see that she's started honoring that and not trying to push herself to be productive all the time. She's starting to let go of that and just be.
Is there something more that you can give her guidance on and how to further let go or go into this mode of rest?
I would say I'm just feeling like joy and fun.
And so what does that look like to do? What are the things that bring joy and that fun and that playfulness?
Trying out new things, going to a pottery class, a painting class, socializing with my friends.
Is there something new, like unexpectedly new, that she could potentially try that she hasn't thought of yet that you think would be good for her intuition?
There's a lot of things coming up. None of them really stand out.
That's okay.
Um,
You can say what they are, because are they like surprising to you or
uh, Not necessarily, because like there's things that have sort of come up before, but I'm thinking like skydiving or booking an overseas holiday or lots of wild things like that.
so intuition, do we need like is excitement and the some of those ones are like the skydiving for me is um like a big, big adrenaline rush. So is that what she needs the most right now? Or does she need more calming, more calming types of things? Or does she need a mix of both?
So definitely a mix of both.
Intuition, we were asking about the balance of needing excitement and also peace. Can you tell us why she needs both, or why maybe as like the greater collective people may need both sides of things when we're trying to bring in joy and playfulness and happiness into our lives?
Yeah, so Kristen definitely goes through ups and downs where she's in moods where she really wants to go and do fun and exciting things, and then other periods where she just kind of wants to cocoon away and watch movies and cuddle up with her cats. So I think it naturally fits well for her, and it's also, I guess, the spectrum of things that are healthy for humans. I think it's a balance. What it's about is trying to balance all those sides of things, the intensity with the lower intensity, and just being and yeah, peaceful and enjoying the small things and then also enjoying the big things.
And then ego, I want to talk to you for a second.
Mhm.
So what is it that you've really been wanting and you're kind of mad about that you can't get regarding this healing journey and maybe a vacation or doing the healing work? Like, what are your resistances towards those?
Control. I definitely think control is a big one.
Okay.
And uncertainty, feeling trapped as well.
Okay. So the fear that's kind of coming through are all of those things, like the trapped, the lack of control. And is that like regarding the actual healing process, like taking the time to rest and like we should keep working, or where is that stuff? Where are those things?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely comes up with the rest and feeling bad if I haven't checked everything off my list of things to do, or
Okay.
yeah, and then on the opposite side of it, it's feeling overwhelmed and trapped when I have too many things to do.
So going back to intuition, when it comes to that feeling of being trapped, what is it that she can do to help alleviate those wounds or those feelings?
The first thing that came up was um, taking some deep breaths and just
Mm.
cutting off the thoughts, not getting stuck in those thought loops, just cancel it and just go back to the breath.
What does coming back to the breath do for us?
Would get me back in my body and calm me down a little bit. So the cyclone that's going on up in my head isn't so intense.
Are there other things that she can do to bring herself back into her body that aren't only breath? Like what else can be done?
She's been enjoying a little bit of dancing and
Mm.
moving recently to shake that energy and um, ground back in the body to get out of the mind.
Can you talk to us about the feelings of being trapped and the correlation with disassociation? Can you give us some wisdom on that intuition?
It feels like the walls are caving in and is just getting smaller and smaller. And I just, she just feels like she has to cut ties and run away from it to get relief. And that relief is often in um, daydreaming and escaping.
Okay. And when you talk about the walls caving in, I feel an energetic, there's an energetic thing to that. So what are the walls? What are the walls that are caving in? Like, is this a physical feeling? Is this an emotional feeling? Like, what is happening that the walls cave in?
Yeah, so it kind of just feels like everything is coming at me. Sometimes it's other people's voices, it's lists, it's all of those kind of things, and it just feels like I can't breathe properly, and everything just gets heightened and overwhelming. Yeah, I just start feeling really hot.
So then going back to the wisdom of the breath, how does the breath bring her back into her body? How does that help with the heat and the rising of the energy that I'm feeling through what she's describing right now?
The breath could be inhaling, well, the exhale would be releasing all of that energy and the heat, and then inhaling is an opportunity to breathe in whatever I'm needing at that time.
Mm, okay. Is there something that she often needs to breathe in, like one particular thing that she can go back to, or does she already know it?
Peace sort of keeps coming up.
Okay.
Peace, yeah.
Would it help her to have a visualization of what that looked like on the inhales too, like a color or again, maybe it could be a flower or some other visual, or is it just focusing on the breath?
A visual would actually help. Sometimes she already sees like this golden kind of light,
Hmm.
yeah, that sparkly golden light, but the flower kind of, yeah, that felt something came up there with the flower when you mentioned it.
So could it be, I have an idea for this, but I'd like to hear intuition, what you think the visualization can look like with that flower some more then. Like as she inhales, what can happen with the flower?
I'm seeing like the flower opening and blooming.
That's what I was thinking too. And intuition, will that, as she breathes, and each time, will it happen at the same speed or will it open at the speed that she needs, like it takes for her to calm down and come back into her body?
But yeah, I feel like it'd be different each time and whatever she needs to come back into the body.
Okay. So the visual representation of how quickly it opens is an aspect of you showing up in this, like intuition showing up in this form to guide her. Does that sound right, or is that off?
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. That feels very supportive to know that she can be guided like that and have a visual representation of you being there for her. Intuition, where would you like to go next with your wisdom? Or is there more to know about breath or dissociating or safety?
No, there's nothing more here. The next thing that came up was my my business, my vision for that.
Is there more coming through, or do you want me to ask a question?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is about that that's coming up. I'm just sort of seeing that.
Okay. So let's switch over to ego for a second. So ego, what's up here for you? What's bothering you about the business?
It's scary.
Okay.
It feels very vulnerable.
Hmm.
It feels like it lacks security, and it's a big jump moving from our job in dentistry over to relationship coaching. It just feels very stable and unsafe.
Okay. So ego, do you have more that you'd like to say regarding the fears, or are you okay with letting us talk to intuition about how we can help?
Uh, it definitely feels like overwhelming and like I'm trapped sometimes as well. And I'm also afraid to say or do the wrong thing,
Mm,
um, and how people are going to perceive that and potentially being, I guess, rejected and not going anywhere with anything because people aren't liking what I'm talking about and saying.
mm. Thank you, Ego. There's a lot there, so I hear you. Intuition, uh, is it true that whatever choices are made are going to be wrong?
No,
Okay. And why? Like why are none of our choices wrong? Why are none of her choices wrong?
because they're all just stepping stones. And even if the path changes slightly, the end result is still going to be better than she could have imagined.
Hmm. And then can you speak to the trapped part here as well? What information does she need to know about maybe feeling more freedom and lessening that trapped feeling regarding business?
Mm, I understand that it feels really scary and unfamiliar, and this is something very new that we've never done before. Um, but eventually, this is going to lead to more freedom. It's actually our job that we have right now that's tying us down more than anything. So it feels really scary and overwhelming right now, but that's only because it's new and it's unfamiliar.
Mhm.
And we will get to a point where we do have all of that freedom. And I guess we already do have that freedom as well because we have the choice where we have the choice to make choices.
Mhm.
So I would say that's freedom in itself is being able to make this career change.
And so, intuition, is this career change happening right away, or is there a like a buffering period that's
There's
needed?
definitely a buff Yeah, there's definitely a buffering period and it's going to be taken in steps. We're not just going to be diving off into the deep end.
Okay. And so why is that? Why is the buffering period needed for her? Like what does that give her? What feelings does that give her that are for her benefit?
Yeah, it's going to make her feel like she's in more control
Hmm.
and she can look to swim rather than being thrown in the deep end and having to figure it all out while she's drowning.
Okay. So it'll be safer, feel safer, even though it's very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the practical side of things, so is it going to look like she's going to stay in dentistry, save money, and it's going to help provide for her dream of switching into this new career? Or like, what is it? What kind of practical information do you have for us here, Intuition?
Yeah. Yeah. So staying in dentistry is definitely going to help with the transition because it will help with the finance side of things and it will yeah, the financial security side of things will help with that transition and we won't be making a full transition until this coaching business can support us financially. So it'll be done in increments.
Okay,
And then we can also get um, financial assistance through grants as well to help with the financial security side of things.
nice. Is there, out of curiosity, is there a particular grant that would work really well for her that you have in mind?
We've already been looking and we think some women's business is sort of where I keep getting taken.
Okay. And so intuition, why does that one feel the best?
because the business itself is about helping women heal their relationships.
Okay. And so that resonates again, like on this energetic level with what she's doing and what they're doing. It's kind of like vibing at the same area, or is it something different?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely vibing there.
Intuition, what else do we need to know about this transition? Like what was it that you brought this up for in the first place? What does she need to know?
To trust the process
Mm,
and not expect it to happen tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
That would be scary if it did happen tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, that she can relax and enjoy the process and trust it because everything that is meant for us is coming our way and it will all come in ways that she wouldn't have expected.
okay. Does she have a particular niche outside of like relationship coaching? There can be niches within it. So I'm curious, does she have another particular like niche area within that she is going to like she's already interested in or she's going to eventually move towards and incorporate with it?
Yeah, yeah, she's recently figured that out intuitively. She, from her own experiences, has decided to go more down the route of teaching women how to heal their relationships with men, um, and healing their hyper independence and their avoidant attachment styles, but then also the anxious as well, because she has been on both sides of the spectrum. She
Okay.
flip flops between, so she understands that.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. And then intuition, what else is what other interests does she have? This doesn't have to be with coaching, but I'm curious as for what other things are she has a deep interest in.
She just loves learning about human behavior. She loves art and nature, philosophy, all of
Would,
these kinds of things.
okay. Would she ever combine art into her coaching as another form of healing or therapy? Maybe not right away, but
Yeah, yeah, it could be something. She did have these ideas to incorporate the coaching into dentistry and offer some programs to teach to dental practices to
mm-hmm,
help, um, with staff and employee satisfaction in their roles.
mm-hmm. Is that what she's passionate about? Does she want to like does she like dentistry enough that she kind of wants to stick there, or is it more just about is that just more about an opportunity that she witnesses and it's kind of like not that exciting
Yeah, I would
otherwise?
say, yeah, I would say it was more of an opportunity that presented itself, and she was just like, oh, that's not a
Okay.
bad idea.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I do feel the true passion lies within the relationship coaching and guiding people back to themselves, and particularly women, it
Mm-hmm.
seems to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I am really curious about the art portion. So what does the art give to her, just on a personal level, or helping with her healing, or
Mm.
whatever?
I Yeah, I would say it's self-expressive. She's in no way, shape, or form a professional or anything like that, but she enjoys just getting lost in it and creating. It could be all kinds of things from cooking to watercolors to body sculpting to resin art.
Hmm.
Yeah, she dabbled in a lot of different things, and it's just nice to get in the flow and yeah, just be there and not be thinking about other things.
Okay. So I want ego definitely jumped in there for a minute. So thank you, ego,
Yeah,
for coming
yeah,
in. Intuition, can you talk to me a little bit about the artist that's within her?
yeah. This creative side hasn't always had an outlet. For a long time, believed that she's not very creative,
Hmm.
but she definitely
In intuition, what blocks creativity?
stress,
Mhm.
fear.
And is that something that's bigger than her too? Is that something that blocks everyone's creativity?
I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah. Okay. Intuition, do you think that everyone has a creative side to them? It just looks different?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And so, again, in saying that, out of curiosity, will utilizing that creativity be an aspect of how she coaches?
Yeah, she's definitely already used a lot of that creativity to come up with her programs and her marketing. So yeah, that seems to be her form of creativity is getting all these really fun ideas and bringing them to life.
Is she just at the beginning of her creative journey?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's something she's been fostering probably over the last 6 to 12 months.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is really going to open up for her as she
Mm.
as she moves forward with this. That's very exciting. Is intuition, is there more that we want to talk about regarding the creativity?
No, nothing else seems to be coming up.
Okay. So intuition, we have about 5 minutes left. Is there something else that you want to bring up before we finish for today?
There doesn't seem to be anything else coming up. No.
Okay. Ego, is there anything that you need to bring up then?
Seems to have quietened down a little bit. So no.
Okay, that's really good. That's actually an answer I was hoping for. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, but okay, so intuition and ego. I really want to thank you for coming through today and expressing yourselves and for letting us hear you and understand you. And when you're ready, Kristen, you can open your eyes and we can chat a little bit about that. How did you how did you find that? Like, did you feel the differences as we were talking back and forth to them?
Yeah, yeah. Funnily enough, I felt ego was more coming from the right side and intuition was more so coming from the left.
Mm, okay. That sounds right. Because like because I do Reiki as well, and so the right side of the body is the masculine logical side, which is more attached to ego, and then the left side is the feminine intuitive side. So that's really
Yeah,
cool. I've never actually heard anyone say that they felt it from one side or the other. So that's awesome.
yeah, yeah. I definitely felt like the split there. It definitely felt like it was the angel over this side and the devil over this side.